have commitments that you didn't know that you were going to have a year ago that were life-changing, you know, and still fulfill the purpose for your life when the right questions are asked and when there are little shifts in your life. The one is identifying energy drainers. And we need to do that. If we don't know what's draining our energy, if we don't know where to pinpoint it, and you say, what's the purpose of getting your worksheets when I can just jot that down myself? I can think of it myself, because sometimes we don't know the questions to ask ourselves. Like I said, I have helped many people write books and they wrote down their whole story because they know their life, and still I had to ask questions for them to fill in. No, well, who is this? Where is this? But ultimately the answers don't come from the coach. The answers come from you. You possess answers that you don't know because the correct questions weren't asked. And so this is going to be different from you writing down things yourself. Of course, you're going to come with some questions that you feel like you need to ask yourself, but there are a lot of questions that you may not have asked yourself that's going to help you to pinpoint what energy drainers that are in your life. So they're going to come as an attachment. So you can do it from your phone, or you can actually print them out at your home. Look at what I have here, and then you can fill in those answers on your own set of paper if you do not have a printer. But here it is. The energy drainers is a 2-part worksheet. So I kind of printed mine out front and back to save paper, okay, save the environment, all that kind of stuff. But if you did single sheets, it would be actually 3 pages. And what I have on here are the questions that you need when it comes to any energy drain. Frustrated when you go to work. Why do you have no time, you know, when you come home? What is draining your energy while you're at work? And not just what particularly, what is it? So we're going to pinpoint, we're going to identify it. You're going to have the questions that is going to help you to identify so that you can communicate it and execute, you know, different solutions in your life so that your energy isn't drained, your time isn't drained. First, like I said, you need the questions, you need to identify it, so it needs to be a part 2. So now you have the question, you have the questionnaire. This is the part 2 of the energy drainers. And so I ask you, say, we know what drains our energy. Now that we know that, we can take the steps to prevent a reoccurrence in the future. So this is the worksheet we're actually working out and going to communicate a plan for yourself. So you ensure that you don't continue another year. We're getting things in order now because there are certain things that are set to come in our lives, but we can't get to it, and there's all of these blocks, there's all of these barriers because there's no boundaries. There aren't the boundaries that you have put there, but there are boundaries due to access that you've given to other people that you've allowed to drain your energy, that you've allowed to totally, you know, take over, even in relationships. Listen, this is going to be for whatever is draining you. If it's a relationship, if it's a romantic relationship, if it's a particular situation or atmosphere that drains you, you're going to identify it. You're going to have the tools. You're going to be asked the right questions that's going to lead you to the right solution. And I'm going to show it to you in the order that I believe that you should do these worksheets, if you get these worksheets, because it's certain things that you need to deal with first. So you're going to deal with the energy drainers, and you're going to be identifying them first. So you're going to do that first. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do the identifying values. I have the one on the worksheet, as you can see right there, because I'm standing back here, because some people get slick and they be like, oh, I'm a screenshot everything that she showed. We talking about integrity, y'all. So with here, I did, again, the print back and forth to save energy, save, you know, in the environment, all that good stuff. But if you did it single because you don't know how to do it, you would have 3 pieces of paper. And so this is the identifying values, assessment and exercise. All right. And so what we understand that values are foundational. That's what we're talking about within this series. And if you do not know what your values or you want to possess certain values, you see other values that other people have, and you're just like, how, you know, or you have never seen them in your life. You may possess some things that you don't know, and you cannot protect what you do not possess. Probably a little over 100 different, and don't get overwhelmed with that, because the purpose of having so many of these listed, you're not going to go through all of them. What you're actually going to do with this exercise is actually just circle up to 12 or 15. That's nothing. But what this is going to do is it's going to help you to identify the values that you know that you possess, or I'm not valuing this. So what do I need in order to commit to these values? Or you might see that you have values, but they aren't aligning really with your life. You might be looking like, okay, I value my time with God. Yeah, time with God is valuable. My commitment to let's just pull one off of here. It could say one of them I have is productivity. One is purity. One is relaxation. One is personal power. One is fulfillment. One is gentleness. Tongue control. So look. Look, we're getting in a lot of these things. You can say, hey, I have that, and this is, something that describes me. This is something that I value. And so you might see some that you like, woo, like, oh, do I? Or I did then, but I want to progress to there. So how do I get there? So this is going to allow you to stay committed to the values that you believe that you have, or cause you to work towards certain values or characteristics and certain things that you might see that you've kind of relaxed on. And then I have you where you're also going to do another exercise where you're actually going to look at the natural and the spirit. You're going to do an exercise. You're not only going to circle them, but then you're going to go further along with identifying certain scriptures that align with that incorporate you, that you can incorporate into your life, that's really going to make those values stick. So it's not just vague, where if you were doing it on your own, I value my time. Hey, I can create a list myself. Let me tell you, these are lists of words that are going to provoke and promote questions. So they aren't just, just everyday words. They're intentional. They're intentional and specific words that actually are empowering to you, and that's going to help you to move forward in those things that that you're called to do, to better yourself person, as a child of God, as a woman, as a man, etc. Then we're going to get to what everybody loves about it. You're going to get to the boundaries exercise. You're like, oh my goodness, school is over. I have enough school. Listen, this is about investing in your life. You're investing in your life. You're investing in what you value, and that is yourself. You want to be able to create boundaries in your life, or properly execute those boundaries. And so this is what the boundaries exercise is going to provide. And here I have it, the front and back. But if you don't do it front to back, and you don't know how to do it front to back, if you are going to print it out, like I said before, you don't have to print these out. You can look at it in the attachment and then write the answers on a different sheet of paper. But if you print it out separately, it will be 3 pages. It may look like it's a lot, but it's actually not a lot. But you will take some time with this, like I said. So the boundaries exercise, here we go. I give you strategy. Here we go. Here we are. And I talk about the 4 steps to setting boundaries, which is define, communicate, stay simple, and set consequences. I'm not just going to tell you that. I'm discussing various topics on here, but the worksheets, the purpose of the worksheets is to give you, it's as if it's my voice in a session with you, telling you what to write, giving you a little further directions. But the worksheets make it personal. Now it's not just a collection of everything that I've just heard. This is a reinforcement of what Coach Nicole has said, but now it's personal. Now this is intentionally for me. So she said to define, communicate, stay simple, and set consequences. But how do I do that? You're going to be able to look at these different situations in your life, because look, you've already identified what is draining. You've already listed your values. And the reason why I told you to go in this order is because you can't protect what you don't value. So once you know where the agitations and the frustration is coming from, now You know, because it's a difference between knowing what's irritating you and knowing your boundaries, okay? So you got to know what's going on and identify it. Then you got to realize that you got to do something about this because of what you value. You can't protect yourself from what you can't identify, and you can't and you're gonna just see it but do nothing about setting a boundary if you don't know what you value. So now you're seeing the order. So after you got your values and all of that in place, and you know what you value and that you want your life to replicate what you value, now you can move into setting boundaries. You can't set boundaries if you don't know what you need to set boundaries on, and if you don't know what you are valuing. Some barriers to set boundaries, because you can go to setting the boundaries and not know, okay, I did everything that you said, but I didn't know that I possibly might deal with some of these things. So you're going to see what is preventing me. What are some barriers to setting boundaries? So I have a whole list of some of the top, what I believe of the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things that prevent people from, or prevent us from setting boundaries. Okay. And then I have healthy boundaries allow you to. These are things that I have not said in the live series. So it's not a reiteration of what I'm saying. It is a continuation of what I'm saying. So here I have what healthy boundaries help you to do. So you understand why you're setting the boundaries. You're not just setting them, just to be setting them. You see how they're benefiting you, what they're allowing you to do, the space that they're opening you up to have, the peace they're allowing you to have, okay? The healthy relationship and the fulfillment in your whole life, your spiritual, your natural life, and in your regular relationships, how it's going to help you. And I talk about how to identify unhealthy boundaries, because sometimes we don't know, like about how sometimes our feeling responsible for others, I'll just give you one, can cause us to create unhealthy boundaries. Feelings of, like I said, inferiority, feeling more inferior to someone will cause you not to set boundaries. When you create those proper boundaries in your life, you wind up receiving the right information. You wind up receiving the right directions, the right instructions, and you wind up protecting yourself from harm. And we have to be in the right mindset to set boundaries. Because again, we cannot set them from a place of inferiority, of feeling inadequate, of looking at ourselves as less than. That's why we need to go over our values. That's why we have to identify our values. It's going to help you to overcome those internal battles when setting boundaries, when having to have an uncomfortable conversation, and to be able to deal with the consequences. Maybe if you set this boundary, he's not going to want to talk to you no more. She's not going to want to talk to you no more. It's okay, because guess what? You're going to protect what you value. It's going to give you the strength and the willingness to say, hey, if you can't deal with this, you know what I'm saying? That's it. So this is basically a graph of life exercise. This is an exercise where it's going to actually allow you, it has a different list of different areas in life. One of those is your health, financial, marriage, just, personal, spiritual, or whatever. So it's a whole list of the main areas of one's life that need to be fulfilled in totality, just summed up. And it's faith-based, okay? And so you're going to look at each area of that life, and you're going to be able to, on a scale, be able to say, really take an assessment of yourself. Look at it. Look at your whole life, where you are. Not outside, but internally, and say, hey, am I dissatisfied, or am I satisfied? And so you're going to be able to rate those areas of your life. You can even jot down on the side, not on the side, at the end of you taking that assessment. Then I give you some instructions at below, where you're going to literally go on the back on another piece of paper, and you're going to begin to write down, okay, why am I dissatisfied? Why? Because this pops off the question. And so for those of you who get this, see, this is why this is an optional one and not just in there, because this is going to be helpful, because this is dealing with the boundaries, etc. But this is actually helping you with your life and your purpose. Because once you, like I said, you put things in place, you're looking at the commitments, you're setting boundaries and this, that, and the other, What are you doing with your life? Are you fulfilled, in these areas?